Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about Umbrella Academy Season 2. But before I move into that, I just want to say a very big thank you for crossing over 2,000 subscribers in the past few days. I am extremely grateful. I really appreciate the love and the support. Keep the likes, keep the subscriptions, and most of all, and importantly, let me know what you think about the show in the comment section down below, and you will not be disappointed with what I have to present to you. Okay guys, so without wasting much time, let's talk about Umbrella Academy Season 2. So first of all, I cannot start this review without saying it. What an amazing opening scene, with the whole superhero showdown that we got in the first few scenes in the movie. Like every superhero movie that we watch, we expect to see a great superhero showdown. And we got that right in the first episode of this movie, or right in the first scene of this movie. The opening sequence was just amazing. Seeing all of them, it was like seeing the Avengers or the X-Men having a great superhero showdown. And we got that. So thank you. We really appreciated seeing that. And it was really amazing, even though they all died right in the beginning. So yeah, we really appreciate that. Thank you, Umbrella Academy. It was great. It was amazing seeing that.
Thank you for the West Sweet.
So Season 2 picks up right off where Season 1 left off after Vanya, the white violin, destroyed or brought down the apocalypse. But they didn't jump back in time when they were expecting, but they jumped way back into the 1960s, but in different time zones and not together. But they arrived in the same exact location in Dallas, Texas. So I think the reason why they had that happening was they wanted to establish various characters to find out who they were as individuals, then who or what they could become as individuals, then together as a group. And I must say Klaus was the most impressive one, and Luther was the most underwhelming one. And I think they had 5 arriving last because he's the youngest of the cast. They had him arriving last because I don't think that he was gonna look the exact same way in 4 years, because that was the time frame that they used in this movie. I think in 4 years he would look much older, and they couldn't recast 5 again. They wanted to maintain that character, so they had him arriving last to experience the apocalypse happening again, but this time with all of them fighting together and whatnot. So then appears old Hazel, who comes to pick 5 up just in the nick of time before the world goes boom. I must say, I do really miss Hazel and Cha-Cha, but now they have been replaced with the 3 Sweets, who I think that are not a bad fit. They're an interesting bunch as well, but I don't know why they decided to sell milk all the time. But before I move any further, I just want to ask, am I the only one who thought that the soundtracks in the show was everything? I mean, the Season 1, the soundtracks were amazing, but the Season 2, boy! They were just off the chain. I mean, we even had Klaus leaving wise sayings to his cult when he was leaving them lyrics of songs that they even used for the OSTs in the show. And I think the OSTs in the songs were just amazing. They were great. Now, before we talk about the main cast, let's just talk about the supporting cast. I mean, Ritu Arya and Yusuf Gatewood, what an add to this show. I mean, these two, let me say, are a blessing to the Season 2 of this show, because they even don't come off as supporting characters in the show. They dominate whatever roles that they were given. I mean, Ritu Arya is the nutcase that also apparently turns out to be one of the children that were born on the same days as the member of their Umbrella Academy. And her power set, I'll leave that for the ending of this video. Her power set, okay, I'm just gonna say it right now. Her power set is she can mirror whatever powers that are thrown at her. So in the ending of the showdown, we see her mirror whatever power that every member of the Umbrella Academy has. And I think that she kind of reminds me of either Taskmaster or Rogue from the X-Men. I think her power set is also pretty cool, and I would like to see more of her in the Season 3. Should there be a Season 3, which I think there should be, because they can't leave us hanging like that, because this Season 2 is so good. Now let's move to Yusuf Gatewood. Yusuf Gatewood serves as a civil rights activist in the 1960s, where there were lots of segregation things happening in the United States. So Yusuf Gatewood is married to Allison. Raymond and Allison. Yes, Raymond and Allison. And apparently, when the first time he saw Allison use his powers, he thought that she was kind of like a sleeper agent or some kind that was planted by the white people to get whatever information, because she was able to rumor that cop to stop beating her husband, and he didn't know at that point that she had powers, so he was freaked out about that as well. But Yusuf Gatewood, I mean, I loved him in originals. Whenever he's given a casting a spell with her hand gestures and everything. I really wish he had powers in this side of the show as well. But yeah, Yusuf Gatewood was really a blessing added to this show, and he really dominated his role, and it was great seeing him again. Now let's talk about Pogo. We got to see an origin story of Pogo, as the ape that was sent to the moon where he got harmed and everything, and we saw some treats also of Pogo in the vending machine that Five was trying to get some candy out of. But that's just a little story or backstory that we got to see of Pogo. And also Professor Hargraves, I mean, that man commands some kind of respect. There is something about Reginald Hargraves that, I don't know, it's just frightful. He terrifies me every time he comes on screen for a man without powers. I thought he didn't have powers until I realized that Hargraves is actually an alien, even though we just got to see the back of his head. Oh my God! Now let's talk about the main cast. So the first shall be the last, and I'm talking about no one other than Luther Hargraves as number one, or as the ape man, or as the strongest member of the team that is so much talked about. I don't see it. Because, yes, in the season one, I didn't see much of him exhibiting his brute strength. In the coming seasons, in the subsequent seasons that are coming, I would like to see that brute strength that is talked about. Yeah, we see him punch through a wall. We see him throw someone across the room. But I don't think that is enough for him to be called the strongest. Yeah, anyone else can throw someone through a wall or punch through a wall, because okay, that not everyone can punch someone through a wall, so I'll give Luther that. But I think that for the brute strength that he has, or for the number one, the strongest character that he's said to be, I would really love to see him exhibit that brute strength in the coming seasons. Because if he is the strongest, then I don't think no one should match up to him, especially when he went down through the fighting pits and he was getting his ass kicked all the time, even by a mere human being. Yeah, that guy was also pretty big and tall, but Luther is supposed to be the strongest. He's supposed to, be ape strong. Even if it's not Hulk strong, be ape strong. And I really would have loved to see him exhibit that. Number two, let's talk about Ben. Apparently, Ghost could grow old courtesy Umbrella Academy. Because Ben, after dying when he was a kid, still grew old to the level of the members of the current Umbrella Academy. So yes, apparently Ghost can grow old now. If dying was not enough, he had to sacrifice himself again in the season when he had the new ability, upgrading his powers of being able to jump or possess bodies, like how he possessed Klaus in the season. He was able to dive into Vanya's consciousness and get to save or get to stop Vanya from going supernova, helping her to have a friend when she was being overwhelmed by her memories that were coming back. And I think that at that end when he was leaving, or that end when he was being disintegrated, it was really sweet how he wanted to be hugged, because he's not felt the touch of anyone or any member of family for such a long time. So I think that was really sweet to see, but it was really sad moment as well. But apparently towards the ending of the show, we got to see that Ben comes back, and obviously we're going to see that in the season 3, but I know that the announcement is going to be made in a few days. Next we have Allison. Now towards the end of season 1, we saw that her throat was slit by Vanya. So when she arrived in the 1960s, at that time period where there was such civil unrest, and her being a colored woman at that time period, seeing her enter the shop where she realized that there was segregation going on, and she realized that, oh no, now she cannot talk or even rumor anyone to do anything, just like how she used to do in the season 1. I mean, in the season 1, she rumored everyone to do whatever she wanted. She rumored herself to be an actress. Now she cannot do that. But thinking about it, if she had the power to do that at that time, or she had just jumped to doing that at that time, imagining how different things would, how the timeline would have been affected, because she could have just rumored all white people to stop this whole segregation thing and all this racism stuff and everything, or she could just rumor them to hurt themselves whenever they tried to hurt black people or whatnot. So at that point when Allison arrived, she was forced to earn whatever it is that she got as the wife of Raymond Chestnut, which is Yusuf Gatewood. She was forced to earn everything on her own, and she realized that she didn't need her abilities in order to make things happen for herself. So we saw her, with the whole Black Lives Matter kind of thing and everything going on at that point in time. Now let's talk about Diego. I mean, I didn't really like Diego much in the first season, but what a level up that he has got in this season. I mean, forget let's just go past his scruffy hair and everything, but this season pairing him up with Ritu Ayer, that's Lila in this season, was such a genius move. I mean, those two were perfectly symbiotic, rubbing off each other and everything. And I really enjoyed the fact that we got to see him level up in terms of his power set, or we got to see him use his power set differently, like without the knives and everything. We got to see him redirect, like his abilities to redirect objects in mid-air and everything. So we got to see him do that with some bullets in the beginning of the show and in the end of the show as well. And I think that was really nice to see. I also like the fact that he was really focused on the saving of John F. Kennedy in this show. Amongst all of them, he's the one that has this superhero complex and everything. And also when they were all landing back in the timeline, when they were landing in the beginning, he is the only one that had the superhero landing. And I think that was really cool to see. With a superhero complex, you better give us a superhero landing.
Superhero landing.
So yes, I really loved Diego in this season, and I think he has leveled up. I really look forward to him growing more in his character in the subsequent seasons that come along. So the bomb, Vanya, the reason for all of this mess, apparently lives on a farm with the family. And I really think that she was out of character in the season, but I guess that's what having amnesia is, because she didn't remember who she was back then. So because she was hit by a car and she lost her memory. And also I was really excited to see the fact that she was able to control her powers now. She was able to channel her powers with sound waves and everything, being able to exhibit them and control them in this season, because we don't need her going boom, and we don't need more time jumps anytime she gets nervous or anytime she starts to lose it. So I think that was really cool seeing this season. And also we got an LGBT representation with Vanya in this movie, with the farmers. Not with the farmer, with a wife on the farm. And also apparently she transferred her powers to the kid when he drowned without even knowing. So even when she took the powers back, she can give powers and also take them back, as we saw in the season. But when she took the powers back, or when she absorbed back her power, there were still traces, or the kid ended up with some kind of abilities after they left. So yes, I think that was pretty cool to see her exhibit her powers in so many different ways in the season. So that's it for Vanya. Now let's move to my top 2 favorite characters, Klaus and Five. But Klaus first.
Oh my god, I'm so excited!
Moving on to Robert Sheehan as Klaus. Klaus is such a joy. I mean, this guy created a cult by mistake, and he couldn't shake them off. Klaus is such a joy, and I mean, it was really sweet seeing him trying to save his dead ex-boyfriend, going to see the younger version of his dead ex-boyfriend and trying to get him not to sign up for the Vietnam War because he dies when he goes to the war and everything. But apparently, when they met again, he said he has already been enlisted and he's already signed up and he was already going. Hence, the timeline already changing. And it was also ridiculous seeing the fact that Klaus didn't make any effort when he was being possessed by Ben. I mean, when he was possessed by Ben, all I still saw was Klaus. Just that his tone was just a little bit more subtle. But in regards to behavior and everything, that was still Robert Sheehan. That was still Klaus in there. And I think also it was really cool seeing the fact that he's able to now manifest his his ghosts in order to take form and able to aid and assist him whenever he needs it in the real world. So I guess that was also a very interesting and cool power set that we got to see. And also, you gotta love Klaus and his Jesus draws. I mean, Klaus is just that hilarious and he's just that lovable. Klaus is just an amazing character. I love Robert Sheehan. Now let's move to everyone's favorite, Aiden Gallagher as number 5. And for the record, I would like to say that Old Man 5 does not do justice to the character as much as Agent Gallagher actually does. Agent Gallagher is number 5. And I must say, today, this season, he actually earned his name as the most dangerous assassin in the whole time, group or whatever it is. He earned that name. That boardroom scene where he massacred those board of directors was insane and was crazy. And I think that in this season, seeing him go like that and seeing him go all crazy and all berserk on them shows how extremely dangerous he is as a character. And amongst all of them, he was the most focused on the mission of stopping the apocalypse. They were all reluctant and everything, but he got to see all of them die. So I think his drive and his motivation also really, really understandable. So also, I would like to say that seeing him every time on screen with a wine glass and everything was really great. It was really cool. And also seeing him with Professor Hargrave sitting down, having chit chat. Even though one is young and one was old, we got to see that there were two mature people actually speaking. And also seeing how he got to take a step back in his powers rather than jumping too far off in the future or too far back in the past. We got to see him actually take little baby steps with regards to his powers, which actually benefited them in the end. And I think that ending scene was just crazy. I mean, those time guys were shooting like the troopers from Star Wars. They were just shooting and missing all the time, and I think that was just ridiculous. So regardless of all of that, I loved this season of the Umbrella Academy. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below, and as usual, you can check out more videos right now.
Thank you for the West So Sweet.